All right, we're not here to do no fractions or nothing. We're going to do some hard questions here. So if you know you're not supposed to be up this hour of the night doing anything hard, we just come off of the stream. Go and sleep. Better go and sleep and face the exam tomorrow, like a man, like a woman. But if you want to come and do some little tough questions, so just check out how good you really is in the circle terms and vectors and that kind of thing. This is the live stream for you. If you still want to stay up, but you don't want to do tough things, just look up the easier topics on my channel and go watch those videos. So search Kerwin-Springer quadratics, go watch those. Kerwin-Springer simultaneous equation, Kerwin-Springer, whatever, will get the most amount of marks. Construction, transformation, geometry, make sure you know those things. I posted some short videos on YouTube to give you some guidance on what topics to pick out, right? So there we go. So here we have this circle theorems question, and we need to find the value of, what's the first question? We need to find the value of angle R. R. What is the value of R? Then we need to find the value of E and A. R, E, and A. So write the value of R, E, and A and put the reasoning. Write the value of R, E, and A and put the reasoning. Now we'll be going at lightning speed there. Lightning speed. Underground people, you get set free. The undergrounders, you get set free. Anybody from the underground live stream here? So R is 78. And the first one the answer is R. What are we going to use to find R? What is the reason? Well, this is the term that deals with the center of the circle, common chord, and it went down to the circumference. So the angle at the circumference is half the angle at the center. So this is 78 degrees. E. What's the answer for E? Next one is E. How do we find E? E, what is the answer for E? Hey, princess here, all the big names here, boy. What's the answer for E? Is also 78. One of the toughest terms to spot. This is indeed a tangent. Tangent, chord. Angle between the tangent and the chord is equal to the angle in the opposite segment, the angle in the triangle in the opposite segment. So this 78 is also equal to that 78. So we have 78, 78. What's the next one? What's the next one? A. Angle at A. So what are we going to use to find the angle at A? Remember, I told you all, as soon as you see the exam tomorrow, turn to this page, turn to number 9. As soon as you see the exam tomorrow, turn to number 9 and start looking at this question and see if you can spot any of the terms real fast. The idea is if this is 78, this is 48, you could find this missing angle here. Now, why are we finding that angle? Because lo and behold, you have a quadrilateral here. Always look for these cyclic quadrilaterals. I just feel that cyclic quadrilateral going to be in that paper tomorrow. You know? I just feel the cyclic quadrilateral going to be there. So as soon as you open the paper, just check and see to see a cyclic quadrilateral and look for the opposite angles. That might help you crack the question. So this plus this is technically that one time because it has to be supplementary. So it's 78 and 48. 78 and 48. 8 and 8, 6. Bring across the 1. 5 and 12, 128. So that 8 or 6. So it was 78 and 48. So it's 128 to 126. Well, again, 126. I make 8 and 8 is 16. 8 and 8 is 16. Oh, my bad, my bad. Only I just do 12 hours. I wasn't really making these kind of addition mistakes. So 100, I open YouTube and my arithmetic just crashed one time. 126 degrees. Now, the reason why I could confidently put the 126 degrees here one time is because, okay, if I minus this from 180, I'll get whatever the missing angle here, which is 54. And then if I take this 54 and add it and minus it back from the 180, I get back the 126. Normal thing. So we got that. All right. Now we have to do our next tough question, a bearings question. triangular field, horizontal ground, LMP, find the value of angle MLP. How are we going to get MLP? I feel like I do this recently in a stream. How are we going to get MLP? Are we using sine rule, cosine rule, SOHCAHTOA, Pythagoras theorem? If you think SOHCAHTOA, Pythagoras theorem, you probably should not be in this live stream. You should be looking at basic tricks on my channel. So it's definitely the cosine rule. And the reason we're using the cosine rule, no, you're not seeing an angle involved, but you're seeing three sides involved. And the angle here is involved, implied, because we're trying to find that angle at MLP. So you're still seeing the guy with his two hands holding up the stick. The only thing is we know the length of the, that's why I tell them to know that is the cosine rule, right? It look like a man with two hands holding up a stick. And usually we're trying to find the length of the stick. We know the angle here. We know these two sides. A squared is equal to B squared minus 2BC cos A. In this case, you're trying to find the angle. So we'll show that just now. And then the bearing of P from L is 210. Find the bearing of M from L. The bearing of P from L is 210. Where is that 210 going? Can you visualize it? Can you visualize it? Where the 210 will go? The bearing of P from L. So since they say from L, we know we're starting at L. You're finding the note, and you're going from the note, and you're going straight down till you connect the line that connects the L and the P. That is your 210 there. But that's not the end. They want you to find the bearing of M from L. M from L. So we also need to find this angle here. M from L means you go from L again, but you stop on the line connecting L and M. So this is what we're trying to find. But that will be easy for us to find. Because if this is 210, and this is the angle MLP, MLP, this is the angle that we just found, you just subtract. So we'll see the working for that just now. And then I want you to calculate the value of angle NLP. NLP. So that's this angle here, which will be kind of easy. We could get an angle now. I could get an angle now. NLP. Yep. How we get an NLP? And hence find the bearing of L from P. How we get an NLP, class? NLP. How will we get NLP? Remember, the whole thing is 210. So we simply going to minus 360 minus 210, and we will be able to get NLP. 150. And if this is 150, are we able to find the bearing of L from P? What is the bearing L from P? That's this guy over here. From P means you start on P. So how do we get this bearing? It's almost guaranteed tomorrow. Please, well, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Oh yeah, it's still tomorrow. I thought I'd started today. It's almost guaranteed 9 a.m. tomorrow. Please God, that you'll have to use some kind of co-interior angle system like this. So 180 minus 50, you're going to get that 30 degrees jumping out at you there. So that we are able to actually figure out this last piece and collect 2 marks real quick without even knowing the answer for the first 4 marks. All right, so let's go see the working. X, we found that middle angle there. We got this first angle to be 78. We got the next angle to be 78. Please note this is do the solutions. It's, well, at this late stage, just kind of memorize it. The angle at the center of the circle is twice the angle at the circumference, and it's standing on the same chord. You have to write your reason, then you have to show your working. 2 marks. Reason, we just do this. Angle E is the angle that the chord, you notice how I like to do it. I like to label each things. So remember the question was that since this is 78, this is 78, the alternate segment theorem. So I say this chord NR and the tangent has to be 78 because the angle at between the chord and the tangent is equal to the angle in the opposite segment in the triangle. I'll try to write it here. Angle E is the angle that the chord NR makes with the tangent PQ. So angle E is equal to the angle in the alternate segment, angle R. One of the toughest theorems to remember and write out properly. So angle E is 78. Angle A You all remember we found angle A. We got this, add it up, get this missing piece, and it was opposite angles in the cyclic quadrilateral. Opposite angles in cyclic quadrilateral, subtract, we get the 126. All right, so we worked out everything. We went through the idea here for this one. So let's see the working. The cosine rule. What I like to do with cosine rule is call the things that I want according to the general name, the ABC letters that we all know and love. So this is A, B, C, A. So the formula is A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos 8. It's in your formula sheet. It'll be in the formula sheet at the start of the paper. So look at this, ladies and gents. A squared is the 180. You see now? Capital A is what we're trying to find. It's over here. Yeah, Chavi, what's up? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Zion. Yeah, so what MLP is what we're trying to find. MLP, but I call it capital A. No, that was my son. That's my son. So MLP is what we're trying to find. I just call it capital A and I substitute like normal. So what's the substitution here? B is 150 squared, boom, bang, 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 bang. Now, I need you all to pay attention to this piece of the working here. You can screenshot it and examine it later. So when I square each of these, I got that. The 2 by that, I got that. It's minus. This is a little unorthodox. It's a little unorthodox. Watch this. Watch this. This is what I'm trying to find, the cos of MLP. Well, actually, I'm trying to find the angle here. So I add up these two and bring it across. So it's really a subtracting that. I got that answer. Then I brought across the 36,000. Seen it? Ended up with 1.8. That's what cos of MLP is. And now I bring across the cos in the ending. So I get cos inverse of 1.8 and I get the angle. Now remember the question. The question was, the whole thing was 210. I should have put this more like this. The whole thing was 210. And we needed to find this little piece of angle here. So we say 210 minus the angle we just got, and we got the angle there. And then the last part was simple because we did the co-interior angles trick. We subtract the 210 from the 360 to get 150. Those of y'all who just joined, you missed the first piece, so don't worry, you catch up in the next question. So where am I working by? You all remember what we do? We got this 150 here because we subtract the 210 and then you use co-interior angles to get this missing part. Next question. So, right. So I just came off the details of a 12-hour crash course with students from the Student Hub. Now we play a game of pick your topic. I'll need doing hard topics or hard questions, right? So pick your topic and I'll do the question. I'll just pick in the first hard topic I see here that you all do. I'll stop overusing the word cook now, is chefs. Hold on. Chavi, what's up? So just give me 1 second to bring up my compilation. Just give me 1 second, right, guys? I don't want to waste your time. It's late in the night. I'm just bringing up the compilation of like questions so that I can quickly pick. I've seen your comments, vectors, matrices, ting. Transformation, vectors. So the first thing I saw was vectors. So let's examine some vectors questions. And then I'll ask you all if you want to do more, if you want to do another topic. So the first thing I saw is vectors. This is 2010. So let's just pick a random vectors question. So in the student, how we provide the students with compilations of different topics now to make it easier to revise. So here's a random vectors question. Let's pick the vectors question that people get stressed with, the ones with like this. This is a kind of blend of two styles. There's a kind of blend of two styles here. So let's look at this one and we'll do this one, right? It's a nice vectors question to look at here. So read the question, the position vectors of points P and Q relative to the origin. So these are position vectors, meaning this O here is our origin. It is like if we had that there, that's O. The diagram below shows that PR is equal to 3OP. Let's visualize that immediately. So if you get any kind of ratio things in the vectors, visualize that, make sure you understand it really good. So PR is equal to 3OP. So how much I need to divide O to R into? PR is 3 times OP. So can you understand that why I would divide this like 3 here, but the entire thing is really 4 parts? See that? And Q to S is 3OQ. So this entire thing is like 4 parts here. So as well, it's not drawn to scale. See that? QS is 3 of the OQs, so it's really 4 parts. So I immediately do that because I know I will have to do something like that in the question. So express in the form XY OS. So the first thing is OS. Now they gave me OP was 4.3, and they gave me that OQ was 5.0. Look at this carefully, guys. Watch. O to S is how much of OQ? O to S is really 4 of the OQs. So it's really 4 by 5.0. So O to S is 20.0. Rate out of 10, how much you understand that? The paper didn't leak. O to S, that was a hoax. And now P to Q. So immediately I'm realizing in my mind that this P to Q is a displacement vector. And I am interested in a displacement vector here, but I have a bunch of O something, which are position vectors. So my mind must, the spidey sense immediately tingling to run for the triangle law in vectors. And the triangle law would look like OQ minus OP. Do I know these? Yes, I know OQ. And yes, I know OP. What's P to Q, by the way? That's this. Now, they didn't give me the U and the V things, so it's better for me to think of it in terms of like the triangle law. So OQ, now we are doing the hard questions. If you're not seeing your head from your toe in these questions, it's better you go and revise the simple topics. So O to Q, this is 5.0. O to P was 4.3. So the answer is 1, -3, which makes sense. This feels like I need to go across 1 and then go down 3. That could make sense. 1, -3. Last one, RS. RS, very similar. RS, we'll use the triangle law, is always the second minus the first. OS minus OR. So it's going to be OS, we just found OS. Where was OS? OS is 20.0 minus OR. What's OR? OR is actually, we didn't find that. OR is actually 4 times OP. So it's 4 times OP is here. 4 times 4, 3. So 16.12. That's what O to R is, 16.12. So it's really 20.0 minus 16.12. Another way we could do this is just multiply PQ by 4, since it's 4 parts, but fine. So you end up with 20 minus 16 is 4, and 0 minus 12 is negative 12. And watch this. This is how they usually end a vectors question. You usually end a vectors question with this part here, the geometrical relationships, where we talk about either parallel, collinear, those kind of things. And we can clearly see we found RS, we found PQ. Can you see that they are parallel to each other? Yes, they are parallel. RS is parallel to PQ, since they are related by a scalar factor of how much? Of, this is 4 negative 12, this is 1 negative 3, of 4. So they are parallel. And the next geometrical relationship, RS is an enlargement of PQ, where, and we use the scalar factor again, RS is actually equal to 4 of PQs. So this was a sweet vectors question to just kind of shake out all the different ideas that you have in vectors. So choice is yours now, YouTube. More or another topic. We're only doing tough topics now. If you want easy topics, just search Kerwin Spring and whatever easy topic you want to learn. You want to go more, you want to go another topic. If you want to go another topic, say topic. More vectors. Delano says more vectors. All right, let's look at another vectors question. I want to pick a nice one for you. All right, there's a nice one here. So let's go. So PQRS is a parallelogram in which PQ is U, and can be PQ, had to be PS there. That's a mistake. PS is D. M is a point on QS such that QM to MS is 1 to 2. So Q to M is like 1, and M to S is like 2. So how much parts I need to split this up into? Again, one of these little fractionsy stuff here. That's 3 parts. That's 3 parts. Now let's see what's up. So you see I done split it up. I done use my information. Right, in terms of U and V, an expression for QS. So there's a different style of vectors. So we want to write an expression for QS. QS. The key to vectors is finding another way. We don't know the direction Q to S, so we'll need to go this way, which is down the U. Once you're going up opposing an arrow, you have to use a negative. And we'll go this way. So this is one of the most common styles of questions when you're using this. Negative U plus V. Negative U plus V. What is Q to M now? Well, Q to M is 1/3 of the way Q to S. And ladies and gentlemen, we just found Q to S is negative U plus V, or V minus U if you rearrange it. So it's 1/3 of negative U plus V. Now we need to show that M to R is 1/3 of U plus 2V. So this is a show that question, a question where they give you the answer. The answer is given, and you need to figure out what is going on. So that's MR here, no problem. We don't know the way M to R, but we could go backwards Q to M because we just figured out Q to M. We know this. We're just going backwards. That means we can just throw a negative sign there, right? And then we'll go this way, which happens to be V. You understand why this is V? It's a parallelogram. So if this is V, it's parallel and equal. This will also be V. So we'll write this like MR is actually equal to M to Q plus Q to R. But if Q to M is 1/3 of negative U plus V, let's expand this. This is 1/3 negative 1/3 u plus 1/3 v. I just put the 1/3 by both of them. You know, we wing it out. Then m to q would mean switch the signs, because m to q is negative q to m. So m to q, which is what I need here, right? M to q is like backwards q to m. I'll put 1/3 u minus 1/3 v. So I switch this one was negative, this one was positive. If I go backwards, I need to put a negative in front of the q to m, so it will end up switching this negative to a positive and this positive to a negative. And we're ready to cook there. So mq is 1/3 of u minus 1/3 of v plus q to r. Q to r is just v. Look at this carefully. If I have 1/3 of u, there's no more u, so let's just put that 1/3 u. But I have subtract 1/3 v, and then I have add 1 v. So this is basically 1 take away a third. So this is plus 2/3 v. Is this what they wanted me to show? No, their own has some magic trick going on here. So what I'll do, notice how they have a 1/3 up front. Excuse. So I'm going to factorize all the 1/3. 1/3 out of this, just put back the u. What is 2/3 divided by 1/3? If I factorize 1/3 out of 2/3. In other words, how much times do I need to multiply 1/3 to get 2/3? Clearly, it's 2 times, right? So therefore, you prove what needs to be proven there. All right, last part. T is the midpoint of PQ. Oh, so there's a point here called T. Prove that R, M, T are collinear. So this is the worst case scenario for this kind of collinear question, because they ain't helping you, they ain't guiding your hand. You have to figure it out yourself. So to prove that something is collinear, you need to get two vectors and show that they share a common scalar, a scalar factor. And then you need to show that they share a common point. So in other words, T is here. It is clear to me that I need to find T to M. I already know M to R. I already know M to R. But I need to find T to M, because I need to get some kind of scalar factor out of that. So let's work out what T to M is. T to M is the same as T to Q. Stay with me. T to Q. And then I need to add Q to M, both of which I know. T to Q is a half of U. Yes, class? Yes? Half of U, because the whole thing is U. So T to Q will be half of U. Q to M was found somewhere already. Look at here. Q to M. I have it expanded here too, nice and proper. So Q to M is actually, let's put the expanded version so we can skip a step. Q to M is this guy. Negative 1/3 U plus 1/3 V. So half U minus 1/3 U plus 1/3 V. Half of U minus 1/3 U. That is a half minus a third. That is 1/6. 1/6 U plus what? You can put it on a calculator to double check. So 1/6 U plus 1/3 V. And this was one of the hardest vectors question to find the common scalar factor. It's there, and it's there. This is MR 1/3 U plus 2V. And this is TM. So you have to be a big boss in the fractions to really see what's going on here. Let me help you out. You see how this was 1/3 U plus 2/3 V? And this is 1/6 U plus 1/3 V. Seen it? 1/6 could go into a third 2 times. 1/3 could go into 2/3 2 times. So the idea I'm seeing here is to pull out the 1/6. And then you have U plus 2V. 1/6 by 2 is 1/3. So therefore, we can see they're related, because this is U plus 2V, this is U plus 2V, this is 1/3, this is 1/6. In other words, TM, or let's put it the other way around, M to R must be equal to 2 times T to M. M to R is 2 times the distance of T to M. One is 1/6, one is 1/3. Maybe you need to go back to fractions. 1/6. If I divide this into 6 pieces, 1, 2. How is divide this into 6 pieces? What? All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. 1/6. 1/6. 1/6. Each one of these represents 1/6. And 2/3. If I divide it into thirds, stay with me. Now your thirds there. So this is 1/3, a next third, and a next third. So can you see that 1/6 is actually half of 1/3? Makes perfect sense. 1/6 is half of 1/3, or 1/3 is 2 times 1/6. So that's why MR is 2 times TM. So therefore, they are parallel. Once you have that common scalar factor, they are parallel. Scalar factor of 2. And since they share a common point, this is a really tough vectors question, and this is like murder here. Since they share common point M, then they are collinear. And collinear just means they lie on the same line. Lie on the same line. All right, YouTube, the choice is yours. Do you want more vectors, or do you want another topic? Now, you need in tough topics if you just bounce up on the street and you say, hey, 1,700 people here, let me jump in, this must be good for me. It might be better for you to just go and revise the simpler topics, right? Let me see what's the first thing that was said. First thing that was said was another another no more bearings. What's the first thing that was said? Boy, cool, they talk, they write this real fast, boy. All right, I think if one of the first things I see was bearings. So let's pull up our bearings question. The question is, do I have a bearings question for you? Yeah, we have it there. There's some bearings for lady. I fed up. See that Akron question. Now we don't pick you. All right, here's a nice one. So bearings, here we come. The diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows the relative position of three reservoirs, B, F, and G, all on level ground. The distance BF is 32, FG is 55, BFG is 103, and F is on a bearing of, whoo, a lot is going on here. It's one of the tough bearings questions. So take a deep breath and see if you can analyze what's happening here. So determine the bearing of B from F. That's the first thing. The bearing of B from F. First thing is, where in the world do we even put that? Well, the clue is in the from F. If they say to F, that means you start on B. But if they say from F, you come from F. So you start on F. So you're going to have to draw in a knot here. Watch it out of the way there, Mr. F. We'll draw a little knot here. And what we're looking for is this whole thing coming down, because you have to go clockwise. And include that 103. That's your bearing there. So we need to figure out that. So how in the world are we going to figure out that? There's a very quick way to get to that. Very quick. Extremely quick way to figure out that angle. What's the quick way to figure out that angle? And they're going to give us some juicy, nice 1 mark. I thought they would have given you some more marks there. They're going to figure out some marks here. They're going to give you 1 mark here. They were stingy with the marks. Well, as I said, one of the main things in bearings is to look for co-interior angles. You see how the knots, you extend the knots. Like if I pull this down here, you see in that kind of shape, you see in that shape, and you see in the soldiers here, them soldiers are called co-interior angles. They always add up to 180. So if this is 42, the angle here missing must add up to 180. Always Mother's Day, and my wife reached home. So Look like this crash course had it. look like this had it. Look like this had it done here. All right. Anyhow, so this is 42, and this is 180 minus 42. Agreed? 180 minus 42 is it coming to me. Bring across the one thing, 8, 4, 30, 138, 138. Why I can't do this, man? Yeah, so this is 138, 138 degrees. That is the answer? No. What's the answer? Well, the whole circle here is 360 degrees. And I know the missing part is 138 degrees, so I want to find the bearing. So the bearing has to be 360 minus the 138. 222 degrees. So that's your bearing there. All right. Calculate the distance BG, giving your answer to one decimal place. So what we're going to use to find BG, is it going to be the cosine rule or the sine rule? What are you feeling? Cosine rule or sine rule? Definitely cosine rule. So the cosine rule is used when you have three sides involved and an angle. So this is 103, we have 32, we have 55, and we're trying to figure out this side. So I'm going to label this A, and in fact I can write it here, A, capital A, B, C. So cosine rule runs like this: A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos of A, substituting everything, finding for A. B will be 32 to B squared plus 35 to B squared minus 2 by 32 by 35. Cos of A is 103. Put all of that straight into your calculator. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. 32 squared plus 35 squared minus 2 by 32 by 35 by cos of 103. Bang. So that's what I get. I put in something wrong. 55, sir. 55. 55. That's the worst kind of error I could possibly make in an exam. You write the wrong number. Make you feel to fight with yourself and thing. So 55. Put that 55. So you get this? 4840. That's not the answer. That's what A square is. 4840. Blah, 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 blah. You want to keep all the decimal points. 0.827711, 0.827711. Therefore, A is going to be equal to the square root of that, which is square root of answer, which is 69. Does 69 sound reasonable? Yep. A is 69, and they wanted it to any significant figures, one decimal place. So one decimal place. So it's going to be 69.6. 69.6 kilometers units given. It's 5. It's 5. What is 6? 6. The number that come after was 7. So which is why you need to use the accurate value. You must be getting the wrong number. Calculate the nearest degree, the bearing of G from B, the bearing of G from B. So to get the bearing of G from B, I need to start on B, go like this from north, and strike that line. So it's important for me to know what this angle is, because I need to add it to 42. There's one way for me to figure out what that angle is. What is the way I'm going to use to figure out that angle? One main way. So one of the things you need to get accustomed to in bearing is every time you do a cosine rule, stand by, you might have a sine rule following up. So we're going to use the sine rule. The sine rule works like this. Let me draw back the triangle. So you see how we just figured out that this was 69.6 and this is 103. We know a side and its opposite. We know a side and its opposite angle, the 69.6 and its opposite angle. And now we're trying to find another opposite angle with it, and we know its corresponding side. That's when we're going to use the sine rule. So you could call this B and call that B. So I relabel. Or if I want to keep it, according to the formula in the front, I'll call this one A, and I'll call this one B, B. And since it's the angle I'm interested in, I'll put sine of A over A is equal to sine of B over B. So the sine of A over 55 must be equal to the sine of 103 over 69.6. And therefore, I'm running out of space. The sine of A must be equal to this big number here, multiply sine of 103 over 69.6, and then to multiply that by the 55. So I'm going to put that into my calculator whole. 103 divided by 69.6. Right. Oh, no. I said I want to put the whole thing whole. So let me just put the whole thing whole and that. Sine of 103 over 69.6. And I could use a more accurate value here if I'm feeling like it. But I'm not feeling like it, to be honest. And 0.7699 is the number here. Don't stop. 0.7699. That's the sine of A. What I needed is A. So I actually need A to be the sine inverse of that, what we just get there. Okay, what's going on here? Somebody want me to kick. A little distract me now and I roll here. If you distract me, I might just be gone. You know? So you want the sine inverse of that number. So shift sine inverse of answer well again. 50.4. So they want it to the nearest degree. So 50.4. Let's just keep the 4 for now. 50.4. Yep. And then what I'm going to do is, since this is 50.4, the whole angle, therefore the bearing is 50.4 plus 42, 92.3 or 92.4 then. So it's 92.4 degrees is the bearing. Now they want it to the nearest degree and it's a bearing, so we need to write it properly. So to the nearest degree, that is 92, but you need to write it as a bearing. So therefore the bearing is 0.92 degrees. That's how you get that. That was real plenty, boy. Jeez and ages. All right. YouTube, do you want me to do more bearings or do you want another topic? I don't know when I finish. Do another bearings. Another bearings. We do one more bearings. Bearings is bearing a lot. All right, so here we have another bearings question. It's actually a popular bearings question. I feel like I do this with my class recently. Let me see if I can get a question I didn't do with my class. All right, let me do this one. This one looking a little rare. So from a harbor H, the bearing of two ships Q and R are 069 and 151 respectively. Q is 175 from H, while R is 242 kilometers from H. Complete the diagram above to show the information given. Sure. Let's do that for you. So 242, 175. Q is 175 from H. Q. So I need to put 175 kilometers here. Anything else missing? UN. 069, that's in 151. The bearing of two ships Q and R are 69 and 151 respectively. So that means that this whole angle coming down here is 151 degrees. That whole angle there. Anything else missing? Nothing else is missing, right? Nothing else is missing. So complete the diagram to show that. We get 1 mark. Calculate QR. What are we going to use to find QR, class? What are we going to use to find QR? To find QR, definitely we're going to use the cosine rule. But before we use the cosine rule, it have some prep involved. Because this whole thing is 151 and this little piece is like 70, 069. So I need to get this little piece here. So therefore, angle QHR, or I could write this properly, angle QHR is going to be 151 minus 69. Yeah, I get it, 82. 82 degrees. So it's 82 degrees. And now I could consider this like, this is my A, this is my common A, this is 82, and this is my B and my C, and this is 175, 242. How much time we gonna do this cosine rule? So A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. Substitute. A squared is what I'm trying to find. 175 to B squared plus 242 to B squared minus 2 by 175 by 242. Cos of A is 82. Put that entire thing into my calculator. Keep in mind, we are doing some of the toughest topics in CXC right now. So if this is not your kind of kettle of fish, you want to go and revise something else, that's what you probably should do. This might just be scaring you right now. This is like a horror movie. If you know your genre of movies is not horror movies, what you're doing here? Go and watch some adventures, go and watch some rom-coms and them kind of thing. Don't be here frightening yourself. Cost of 82. It is possible to pass the exam without knowing how to do a bearings question. So 77401 point blah 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 blah, leaving all that for time's sake. That is A squared. So therefore A is the square root of that 77 blah 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 thing that we get, right? I'm just leaving it out for time's sake. Nobody in a time to write back all of that. You had to write it in the exam, eh? So the square root of that is what you get? 278.2. That making sense? 278.2 sounding reasonable. Yeah. 278.2, how do I write? To the nearest kilometer. So is equal to 278 to the nearest kilometer. That's QR. And then calculate how far due south is ship R of the Harbour. Wow, this one is intriguing. So how far south is ship R from the Harbour? How far south? So what they're asking for is something a little strange. They're asking for, visualize this. They're asking for this. That's rare. They're asking for how far due south is ship R from the Harbour. They're asking for a distance. So how do we find that? Can we find that? How do we find that? So that question is actually a basic trigs question because that's a right angle here. This is 242. That's the hypotenuse. What else do we know? Well, remember, we know this whole thing is 151. So it makes sense that this little piece is 29. The whole thing must add up to 180. So we know an angle and a side and a right angle triangle, and we're trying to find this piece. So which rule are we going to use? Which one in SOHCAHTOA are we going to use? Think about it. We have the triangle like this. We know this is 29. This is 242. I'll make that noise right. This is 242. And we're trying to find this side. Somebody saying sine. How you going to say sine in this late hour, man? This is definitely a scenario to use the cosine. Not the cosine rule, but the ka in SOHCAHTOA. where this is the adjacent to the angle. So you're going to say cosine of the angle is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Or the cos of 29 is equal to the adjacent, what I'm trying to find. Let's call it h then. H over the hypotenuse is 242. So h is equal to 242 multiplied by cos of 29. And that will be your answer. That will be your answer, ready? 242 multiplied by the cos of 29. Make sure your calculator not in radians. Is 211. What do you want it to the nearest degree? 211. I say 211.7 to 1 decimal, please. So that's how far south ship R is from the harbor. All right, YouTube. More bearings or another topic. Somebody say circle terms. So you just hit them as circle terms to ease the heart and soul. I'm a circle terms. Did we start off with circle terms? You know, we start off this live with circle terms. It's starting to reach the goodbye for me, you know. It's starting to get close to the end. But anyhow, let me mash up the circle terms. Which one we could do, boy? Pick a random one. Down in the middle here. All right, so the diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows a circle center O, the line BC tangent to the circle at B. Angle CBD is 42. Angle OBE is 20. Cool, cool. This looking tough, boy. And now we need to find BOE. That's the first one we need to find. BOE. Angle BOE. So firstly, you need to know how to spot angle BOE. B to O to E. That's this angle here. So that's an easy one to start us off with. How are you going to get that? So remember, the first thing you have to do tomorrow, 9 a.m., open the paper. Well, after this, it open the paper. After that, you see the seal, you see the seal, you see the seal, and the tap it up and thing. After you do that, turn in your papers, and at least you turn in your Bibles, yes. Turn in your paper to question 9. Watch the question and check out the term. Somebody talk more right angle and all kind of thing. No, that's now you find BOE. Check out the term, circle term question, and write down all the terms that you see. So how do you find BOE? Let me give you a clue. That's 20. How do I know that's 20? 2 radii, 2 eyes. The 2 radii I'm talking about is OE and B and OB make an isosceles triangle. That's not, I need to make this smaller. An isosceles, write this over. So you're trying to find angle BOE. And what I'm saying is the 2 radii, watch them, OE and OB make, you had already reason, so take this on, make an isosceles triangle BOE. Seen it? BOE is isosceles. Bap, bap. Therefore, the base angles in an isosceles triangle, it reads solely that I can't even write properly. Triangle are equal. Who am I kidding? I always write like this. So therefore, angle BOE has to be equal to 180 minus 2 times the 20. So 180 minus 40 is 140 degrees. All right, what's the next one? OED. OED. What's angle OED? OED. How are we getting this one? That one is actually a little tough to see. Am I writing what we have so far? We have this is 140. How we cyclic quadrilateral? Somebody saying OED. The cyclic quadrilateral not really helping we here, you know. Cyclic quadrilateral, wrong idea. Wrong idea. It is 22, very good. But how did you get that 22? Angle at the center is twice the angle at the circumference. Hold on. Yes, so the best one I'm seeing is the alternate segment theorem. So if you look here, see this 42. You have to look at all the given things and try and see, okay, they give me this 42. Why they give me that 42? What is the 42? Where is the 42 located? What theorem is this related to? This is related to the alternate segment theorem. This is the chord. This is the tangent. The angle between a chord and a tangent is equal to the angle in the opposite segment in the triangle. So finding, what I'm trying to find, by the way, OED. So for trying to find OED, I do it on this side. We're trying to find OED. What I want to say is the angle between a chord, and let's call the chord that I'm talking about BD, and a tangent. What is the tangent I'm talking about? BC, is equal to the angle in the triangle, like triangle, I know it's not looking like triangle, in the alternate segment. This is the last circle term, one of the harder ones to see. So therefore, this whole angle must be 42 as well. Therefore, BED is equal to DBC. So equal to 42 degrees. And therefore, since the whole BED is 42 degrees, the one that we want, OED, must be equal to 42 minus 20, which is 22 degrees. All right, what's the next one? BFE. So we're looking at angle BFE. Where's BFE? BFE, here it is. How are we getting this angle? So I was trying to find another way involving the internal part there. But it looks like we have no other choice. But to pull out the cyclic quadrilateral on them. But we have no other choice but to pull out the cyclic quadrilateral. So some people saying it's 180 minus the 140. So this is 40. Obviously, it's not that. It can't be 40. It's not even looking like 40. Nowhere close to 40. So you can't use the cyclic quadrilateral if the quadrilateral not cyclic. You have to use this quadrilateral here. So in other words, we need to find this angle. We need to find that angle. So we need to think about how we could get to that angle. There's a quick way we could get to that angle. If this is 140, this had to be 70. Angle at the center, the 140 degrees, is twice the angle at the circumference. That's the angle BDE. Therefore, BDE is equal to 140 divided by 2, which is 70 degrees. So if this is 70 degrees, this must be 110 because the opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. Opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. That just means add up to 180. Add up to 180 degrees. Therefore, the final angle that I'm looking at, BFE, must be 180 minus 70, which is 110. So this circle terms was on the harder side of things, definitely on the harder side of circle terms. Definitely one for the record books. All right, YouTube. Keep in mind, we just do a 12-hour crash course, and I taught for most of that crash course. So I talking whole day. I feel lazy last journey in the road it earlier. The last question earlier. More or another topic? Seeing people are linear programming in caps. Linear programming. Linear programming. All right, let me see what happened linear programming. Linear programming. Do. If you know, I was pretending I'm seeing that linear programming person, but because linear programming will take some time to do. All right, let me pick one tough linear programming. Oof. Not that crazy. Within no way they bring in a linear programming with so much marks involved in it again. So let me look for linear programming after 2018, after the syllabus change. Let me see if we can find one. This 2018. Here's a linear programming. This one kind of easy. Right, show. This is a linear programming where we just writing things. There's no graph to draw. So I might have to do something with that graph afterwards. Oh no, there is a graph. There's a kind of graph here. I'll do this one afterwards, right? So there you go. Let you run through this, and that could be that's how we're wrapping up the shop for tonight. Now, if you want to, after this, if you want to take in more things, whatever topic, just type it on YouTube. Kerwin Springer, topic you're interested in. Mr. Thomas makes X bottles of juice and Y cakes each day to supply his customers. He makes at least 20 bottles of juice and no more than 15 cakes each day. These questions, they start off simple, so but in those few lines, those two sentences, they give you a lot of information. We can easily pull out two inequalities out of that. He makes X bottles of juice and Y cakes each day to supply his customers. So what we need is two inequalities to show the information below. We need to be able to pull out two inequalities. What are the two inequalities? George, this already night you getting on like that, boy? Take a little time out there, my brother. Take a little time out. Two inequalities. I'm to Georgie, boy. Georgie reached the end of the road. Right? Two inequalities to represent this information. Somebody say chord and tangent. Better you take a time out too. You time out your whole self. All right. So supplies customers, he makes at least 20 bottles of juice. So Y must be more than or equal to 20. He makes at least, wait, who is Y? X is juice, sorry. X must be more than or equal to 20, but he cannot make more than 15 cakes. No more than. He could make 15, but not more than. So Y must be less than or equal to 15. Y is in the chat if you understand that. So each day, Mr. Thomas makes $163 he uses $163 to make the bottles of juice and cakes. The cost to make a bottle of juice is this amount, while the cost to make a cake is that amount. So we need another inequality. You know this inequality has to be that all the money has to come up less than $163. But how much for the juice? $350. And juice is X. So it's really $350 by X. Plus how much for the cake? $525. My cake is y. So 525 by y. So this is the inequality here. Y'all understand? That's how linear programming question is start. You have to create some inequalities. Show that on a given day it's not possible for Mr. Thomas to make 50 bottles of juice and cakes. Well, on the graph, all we had to look for is look for 50 and look for 12 and see if it's inside the region of commonality, but there's no graph. So what we need to do is take this number and substitute it into the linear inequality there. So let's see. For 50 juice and 12 cake, I write in like a Trinidadian here. 50 juice and 12 cake, what he gonna need? He will need 350 times the 50 juice plus 525 plus the 12. And what that is? 350 times the 50 plus 525 times the 12. 238, bro. What are you trying to do? This is greater than the daily budget. Like too much money. He not them them coins. All right, let me look at the more complicated one with the B flow. This is a popular one. So Mala buys two types of mobile phones, a B flow and a C flex from a company to retail. One B flow, $60. One C flex, $80. I do this question 1,000 times a day. This question. She buys X number of B flow phones and Y numbers of C flex phones. Mala must not spend this amount, write an inequality to represent this information. All right, so X plus Y must be less than or equal to 1,200. Why isn't it chat if you agree with that? That's the number of phones. You must. Oh, wait. That's wrong. I need to multiply by the money for each phone. So which one is the X? The B flow is the X and the C flex is the Y. So 60 by X plus 80 by Y must be less than or equal to the 1,200. The number of B flow phones must be greater than or equal to the number of C flex phones. B flow is X, C flex is Y. So the number of B flow must be greater than or equal to the number of C flex. All right, the next mark there, we collecting the marks. Represents the two inequalities. So this is an equation of a line. We want to bring this into equation of a line. So we have 60x plus 80y is less than or equal to 1,200. Let's get the equivalent line. The cutoff spot is the line. So I'll just cancel the zeros on each one of these terms. So I'll get 6x plus 8y is equal to 120. That's a little better on the eyes. I could still divide everything by 2. Yeah, I can divide everything by 2 and get 3x plus 4y is equal to 60. Y'all understand what I do there? I just simplify across all these zeros. Because I want to build the equation of the line. I need to draw this line. I also need to draw this line, but that line is easy. This is the line, x is equal to y, aka y is equal to x. And we know that line, line is look. Y'all know the line is look. By the way, if you don't know linear programming, search Kerwin Springer linear programming to get from the basics straight up to now. What I'm doing right now is for expert students who probably are the one part, I'm just doing tough questions for you all. Tough questions, right? I don't normally do this. So if you want a full breakdown on your online, why this man is breaking down this thing? If you want a full breakdown, you need to go and look it up on YouTube. I have the videos with it there. Search Kerwin Springer linear programming and watch the breakdown, right? So y is equal to x. How would this line look? When you have the equation of the line, like this, like it's not a known format. Like known formats would be like x is equal to 3. You know how that line would look? That line would look like a vertical line cutting through 3. Y is equal to -4. Look for, well, there's never again negative numbers in linear programming like that. So y is equal to 4. It will be here with this being 4. Or the line y is equal to x. That's this line. at about 45 degrees if the scale equal, or even if you have this line, x plus y is equal to 10, well, then what you need to do is find 10 on both of these and connect it. These are simple lines, quick lines to draw. Very quick lines to draw. There's also the line y is equal to 2x and stuff like that. It would just go up a little faster. Very easy lines to draw. But this line is not a generic line. This is a special line. How do we do lines like this? The fastest thing to do is substitute x equals 0 and substitute y is equal to 0. So when x is equal to 0, 0, this will cancel out. 3 by 0 is 0. Plus 4y is equal to 60. So y would be 60 divided by 4, which is 30 divided by 2, 15, 15. So y is 15. So we get a point. There's a point 0 on the x and 15 on the y. That's here. And then when y is equal to 0, so you substitute y is equal to 0, x is equal to 0. 3x will end up being equal to 60. This will go 0. So you'll get x is equal to 60 divided by 3, which is 20. So there's a next point, 0 on the y, but 20 on the x. There's a next point here. So I need to connect those 2 points like this. And that's my line, but use a ruler. Then I have the line y is equal to x, which passes through all of these points, 10, 10, 5, 5, 15, 15, 20, 20 over here. There's a next line like this. This is the line y is equal to x. So this is the line 60x plus 80y is equal to 1200. Now they want us to label the region that will satisfy this. We need it to be less in this one. So therefore, we're looking at everything. I'll just draw an arrow that's under this line. It needs to be less than 1200. And in this one, x is greater than y. This could be rewritten as y is less than x. I swap both sides, so I switch the direction of the sign. So y is less than x means we want everything that's under the line y is equal to x. So you want it on this side, because y must be less than x. So for example, if I pick this point is 2.510, y is less than x on this side. If I pick a point up here, this is 5 on x, but 10 on y is more than x on that side. So we want it under the line. So the region that will satisfy everything is this region here. And they want us to shade this region. And that's linear programming. That's the idea behind linear programming. So you have inequalities, you represent them on a graph using the equation of the line, you shade the region of commonality that all the inequalities will intersect at, and then you may be asked extra things. Yes, like this. The total number of mobile phone is represented by x plus y. According to the graph, what is the largest possible number of x plus y? So we need to examine here, and then we need to examine my boy up here. Well, you can't get half of our phone. So we need to get the closest whole number. The thing is, I didn't draw my thing to, let's suppose that the line cut through this point, right? I didn't draw my thing using a ruler. So let's suppose that the intersection was here. We just pretend that the intersection was there. Is the idea that you need, right? So 5. This is a real weird scale, but what really happening here? Life, boy, life. Why they needed to make this scale like this? That was just unnecessary. This is 5, this is 10, but the cuts between this is 4. That's senseless. If you do this in CXC, then we'll take away marks from me. But anyhow, so on this spot, we see in 20 of the x's and 0 of the y. So there's 20 phones here, right? You need to check the vertices. That's what I need to see. You need to check the vertices. So I just want is the idea that is important. So let's pretend that this was 5, 6, 7, 8. It's more like you need to say the difference is 5 divided by 4, and then you get what each one is. But let's suppose that it was, remember that you said right? So I'm just trying to see a point. Why I think why I'm being so indecisive? Let's say that it was 8, 8. Just for kicks, right? Let's say that's 8, 8. is the 0.88. Is the nearest whole number point that we could get. Let's say that 88 was it. And it's in the region. Excuse me, because it is on the line y is equal to x88, right? Well, then the total number. So we examine the twin vertices 88. We don't need to worry about this vertex here because that is 0, 0. So that now we're not win. It was 8.75, 8.75. Right, okay. But of course, you can't get piece of a phone. So whole number version is 88. Yeah, I think I remember that. So the whole numbers is 88. So the total number of phones is 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 whole phones. And then in this case, you have 20, 0. So the total is, why write total? The total is 20 plus 0 is 20. So the highest number of mobile phones that we could get is 20 plus 0. 20 mobile phones is the answer. Now, this is one way they could ask you an ending question. Another way they could ask you an ending question is like ask what is the profit that you would make on this. So you work out the 20 and you multiply by the cost of the phone. And then you work out the 8 by the 8 and you multiply by the cost of each phone. 8 by the whatever and 8 by the next one. And you see which one gives the higher total. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So some words of encouragement and some words of advice. You need to know yourself. If you need sleep, please don't stress out yourself. Just go and sleep. It'll be the best thing for you. If you are accustomed staying up for exams and studying pretty late into the night, and you're sure you're okay with that, then I would not advise no learning new things. Avoid new things. Revise, watch over topics that you already do questions that you already do, memorize. So you could make use of your short-term memory right now. Like you memorize like circle theorems, any other little thing that you want to memorize off, like how to complete the square, the whole steps in certain questions. You want to memorize. Yes. So do some last minute memorization by writing out things and make sure you have it. If you are a really good math student, then you want to scan everywhere and try and see if you find some new things. Like anything I forget by, I post a video on some topics that I forget, that students forget. So you could go and check that and see, hey, did I forget to double check this? Well, fine. But the average math student, I would advise you probably wasn't even supposed to be on this live. This live we was doing some of the toughest questions. Go and learn things that you know already and just make sure you secure the bag. Make sure that you secure the bag, right? So who is that? Moyamat? Let me give a smaller YouTuber a boost. Or they can just tell him Uncle Springs. Or they can just tell him Uncle Springs send all you. Moyam. I hope you're not doing it too extravagant. Some people just have some extravagant styles of teaching. I try to keep it simple. So I'll send the link there. You all can check it out. If you want to, if you all feel like you want some extra linear programming. But if it's not accustomed with the style that you accustomed learning, do go and learn a new style this hour the night. Or you could jump on the live and say Uncle Springs and all you. All right, Terry, I do a little last minute prep as well. Yeah, Terry was streaming about 2 hours ago. All right, we take turns, boy. We take turns. We take turns. I'm not seeing any other lives up. So I'm gonna check again CSEC Maths, or they could go and jump on these live streams. CSEC Maths live. Only seeing me. Final revision. So yeah, and the name of his channel, who is up right now, is Moyo Math. Once again, if it's a different style that you're accustomed to, just go and learn, practice the styles that you're accustomed to. But if you feel like you're gathering information from him, that's cool. It's love and blessings day now. Mash up the exam. I will be waiting with bated breath to find out how the exam was. I feel like this year I do the best possible in terms of preparation. I can prepare my students and even those who follow me on the channel on TikTok. We pour out real content. We pour out real look. So I hope all you was paying attention. Love and blessings. Go and flood more your math channel. Tell them teach me, sir. Later.